I'll tell you something funny.
Please.
Steve
Yes.
Irwin's best mate, Wes. I knew him through jiu-jitsu. We hung out a bit, and I visited him in hospital when he got bit by a croc.
Really?
And yeah. And it was a bigger croc too. And here's the funny thing. When I was, I've had a few NDEs, near-death experiences, and on this one particular occasion, it was the classic life flashing before my eyes, right? Like everything, right?
Okay.
And it was a shark attack, but that's not the point. The point was, I'm going through all these images in my head, and I'm like, fuck, I see it all. What do I have about shark attacks to help me, right? And I pull up all the images in my head about sharks, and they didn't help because that's just me remembering how scared I was of sharks, right?
Uh-huh.
But then I'm like, okay, what if I search in this moment as I'm drowning, predatory animals? And up comes Wes. I'm in the hospital room with him, and I'm asking him this question. I said, because he was okay, but he had some big holes in him. And I said, so what was it like when it actually bit you? I wanted to know, right?
Yeah.
And he said, Tim, my whole life, I've been around crocs, and I've always wondered what it would be like to be bitten. And here it was. It was finally happening.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thanks, Wes. And then I disappear back in the moment. And then I'm like, here I am. I've been scared my whole life of sharks, and here it actually is happening. It was kind of strangely cathartic. I could relax a bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What was, not to steal it off of you, but like, because when I'm picturing a crocodile bite, obviously I'm assuming that like anything that just gets bit is just separated from that immediately. Was that what it was? Like, what exactly?
So he got bit above the buttocks and behind the knee, and he said he felt like his butt cheek was pushed up against his knee. So it bit him like one here and one behind the knee, and pushed those 2 points together.
Oh God, I don't want to imagine that. That's I mean, I can try to imagine it, but it's
But yeah, he took it like a champ, and Steve raced over and, dived on the croc. And if you're ever going to be bit by a croc, you want Steve Irwin around you. So,
yeah, Steve that is the number one all-time draft pick for crocodile wrestling. What was the shark attack like for you, though? I mean, did you end up getting bit by that?
Yeah, the shark was on my leg, and it wasn't eating me, it was drowning me. That was what it was going to do first. I've never, I mean, I've been hit a stack of times, but I've never had my whole body like shaken like this, like
just like ragdoll kind of.
Yeah, like just I could feel the brain rattling around the place. This thing was just shaking the shit out of me. And I'm like, fuck this, I'm going down swinging. So I got my knife out, and it's actually really hard to stab underwater because you got all these different things. And I'm managing
at a snail's pace.
Yeah, and I'm managing to stab this thing as I'm getting tossed around. I'm managing to stab this thing in the eye, and it's not letting go, right? So when someone says, "Oh, I punched the shark and it went away," I'm like, "No, I just didn't want you," right? But I you remember how I said like humans help regulate other humans?
Yeah.
And as I'm being dragged under, I had my mate Jimmy. Now Jimmy was a fellow operator, a fellow commando.
Okay.
And Jimmy was one of those guys, a bit of a fucking asshole. But if you're in a tight pinch, that's exactly the guy you want.
Yeah.
Like, down number one pick.
Okay.
The guy that's pretty fucking hard to be around, right? That was Jimmy. And here he was. I could see in his eyes, he's like, he had his spear gun ready to lined up to shoot the shark, off my leg. And I could see in his eyes, he's like, Tim, I've got this, and I got fucking you. And no shit, the trust that was in that space, I felt this wash of complete calm and relaxation go through every cell of my body. Vroom.
Yeah.
Like almost instantly. And
that's all even while the shark is just like still got you gripped by the leg.
Yeah, I had every reason to be freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, people don't need more stuff in this world. They need more trust. Even though I was like at death's door, the trust I felt made it just flicked this switch. And I went from my fight or flight, from my amygdala to my prefrontal cortex, my executive function with that trust. And I turned my body and to let Jimmy have a shot, and there's a fair bit of trust in the room. He's shooting something off my leg that's flicking around the place. Anyway, he hits this thing square, but it kind of just pissed the shark off more because spears aren't bullets. They don't go in and shatter. They just poke holes, right?
Yeah.
And sharks are pretty tough. So the only reason I got out of it was because they have this thing called a shark shield device.
Shark
shield. It's like an electrode that runs off your leg like a leg rope, and it creates an electrical field. But fucking dumb old Tim here, I didn't have it turned on. And guess where the on switch was?
Where was
inside
it?
the shark? Inside the shark's mouth. Right. So of all the places it could have bit me, it bit on where I had the battery for the shark shield. So my leg wasn't getting cut up at all. It was just drowning me. Right.
Okay.
And the on switch was inside its mouth, but it had its mouth over the battery. So it had its sort of jaw open, and there was just a little bit of space in the crack of its mouth. And I'm like, well, fuck it. My whole body's going to be drowned in a second. I might as well. It doesn't matter if I lose a finger, right? So I go inside this shark's mouth and I'm feeling around to find this fucking on switch. And eventually I find it. I flick it, and then boom, the thing just lets go. And I'm like roaring to the surface. I want to live, Fuck being at peace with death, Yeah.
Yeah, forget this whole thing about trust and calmness and like, I'm getting out of here. I think I'm doing the breath work as soon as I get that boat on and throwing everything off. I'm like, breathe.
And I tell you, I have never tasted more sweeter air than coming up from that. Like,
I can't imagine, just like, because there's a lot of things that can bring an exhilarating rush of just like taking the weight off your shoulders. That I can't imagine how it felt once you finally like got to a safe spot just away from that water. Oh,
look, no, Jimmy, like we were like, he just come up, he goes, he fucking does this. He goes, fuck yeah. And he high fives me, right? And he goes, let's go kill this fucking thing.
Wait, so did you want to go kill it, or were you like, no?
That was an edible shark. Yeah, that was a bronzy. It wasn't like a big one, but it was big enough to drown me. It was maybe a bit over 2 meters.
Yeah, what type of shark was it?
Bronzy. A bronze whaler. Bronze whaler.
I got to pull this up.
Yeah. If you type in, bronze whaler.
All right, yeah. Let me do the screen share. Yeah, it's weird going from that. It's weird going from that shark attack story, and then I pull up the first tab of my thing, and it's koala bear double-headed penis. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta change that one away.
Scrub my search history.
Yeah, this is my work laptop. I'm definitely gonna have to scrub that one. My Japanese manager is gonna be looking around like, what did they do? What do they do in the United States? That's weird. Bronzy,
bronze whaler or bronze whaler. A bronzy shark. Here you go.
Copper shark. That's what they call it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Man, I can't imagine. Or go ahead.
They're not like great whites or anything, but you don't know how. I didn't know how strong they actually are when they grab hold of you and you're in their environment.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this and it's like, I mean, I would assume this is like a medium level, small level shark. I mean, it's like I can't imagine what like a great white or any other, because like some sharks, I mean, that you'll see like, you know, in documentaries and stuff, massive. I can't imagine what like a huge shark would be able to do. It'd be.
Well, I'll give you a fun fact. Sharks usually don't eat humans. They'll bite them and realize, oh, that's not what I eat. Because a fun misconception is if you bleed in the water, do you think you'll attract a shark, Cody?
If I bleed in the water, yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, they can smell blood from like far away, right?
Yes, but we're land mammals. They only eat marine mammal blood, and they're quite fussy eaters. So this is why in the 70s and 80s, when shark fishermen would go out with all this bullock blood, you know, ox blood, they wouldn't attract any sharks because it's only marine mammal blood that they're attracted to. So we're not actually on their dietary list. They can mistake us in, you know, certain conditions for something else. They will often take an investigatory bite where they'll bite and go, no, that's not what I eat. Yeah. And they'll bleed out and die as a result. But we're not on their menu per se.
That does make sense. I mean, I'd be curious to see the science behind like how they can tell the difference between like sea mammals versus like land mammal blood, because that is a pretty, because I mean that's got to be a pretty strong nose to do that. But I suppose it makes sense because it's like, I mean, they are sea creatures, so they have to be developed to eat seafood. Yeah. Well, what was one last thing I wanted to get to was because we talked a little bit about Afghanistan. We'll switch to the land. We'll head back on